Welcome to Punish for Protecting Live broadcast here today on YouTube. We are asking you to please share this episode on all your social media, Facebook, Twitter, and whatever social media platforms you use so that we can spread the word. Today's episode, we have a privately recorded phone call where a caseworker is going to admit to family court corruption. And we are live right now. So we're asking you to be sure on Facebook and YouTube to invite all your friends. This is also interactive if you'd like to chat. Chat is open on the YouTube chat section. And we also thank you and remind you to hit like, subscribe, and then, of course, click the bell so you never miss an episode. So we want to thank you for watching our live broadcast today on YouTube, Punish for Protecting. But first, I would like to just make an announcement for the 4th annual Remembrance of Nancy Schaefer Rally event, shirt hoodie fundraiser. We know that I spoke with Brian earlier today from Restoring Families Internet Radio. And if you guys could please go to either his page, Brian Lee, or to Restoring Families Internet Radio Network, found on Facebook. We need to sell, or he needs to sell, more t-shirts for this great event. Restoring Families Internet Radio Network is looking to the community to help for help in raising funds for the annual Remembrance of Nancy Schaefer Rally held on March 26th, which is coming right up, in our nation's capital on the National Mall. All proceeds go to staging and production costs. It's a really nice t-shirt, as you can see right here. So far, only 15 items sold. He really needs 5 more to get the quota going. So it's really important, guys. If you can help out, you can get it. It's being sold in an Irish green, which is very pretty. And also you can see here that he has this shirt in you can get you can get a hoodie or a t-shirt, and you can donate extra if you would like to help out with this great event. This again is the 4th annual Remembrance of Nancy Schaefer annual event, and we thank Brian Lee for that and his hard work. And now, without any further ado, I'm going to call my guest here today, Michael Evans. And Michael, I just want to make sure that your mic is open and your video camera is open. Let's see. There you are. There you are. So we have some footage here. And actually, I do want to make a nice statement here that this video now will be also, it will also be aired on Delta TV California, which is actually Contra Costa, California, where you can see there's a lot of garbage going on in that state. Not that it doesn't happen in every state. Judges that are just doing horrific, unethical, and despicable behavior, and certainly need 7 counties straight down the map there. So we're very happy about that. So this program will be aired there. It will also be aired at PATV Long Island, which gets a very large viewing audience in Long Island, New York. We also air on Channel 22. It's Westchester County. We air on New Paltz, New York TV, which generally airs all weekend long. I get different call times in different stations. And we air at Panda TV, which is Dutchess County, New York. So this should be getting quite the views of exposing what we have today. But Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself, and your case actually dates back to 2007. What happened back in 2007 with your children?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, I really don't understand what happened. I've never really been told the true meaning behind what's going on. The courts did grant the grandmother guardianship, and I have fought that. But I've been out of the loop. Nobody wants to tell me anything. I can't get the paperwork for it.
So what was the original allegation?
The original allegation against me was for molesting the older daughter, and that was a false allegation.
So now here's something that quite upsets me. Because I've said this before, but false allegations are the bread and butter of this industry, this child trafficking industry. False allegations is what they do in order to tear up homes and harm children, because it's a moneymaker and it's very sick. The other side of that is that they abuse these children in the system. So these children get abused, and we call it a child trafficking system because that's exactly what it is. But it also, sadly, is a child sexual trafficking system. Yet you have a situation like this, which is actually a very serious crime in every state. False allegations is a crime. So they found that this is not true. Now, how is it that somebody can make such a horrendous accusation against somebody like that, and get away with that, for one?
I have no idea. I know Putnam County, if you Google it, is the #1 county in the United States that has more arrests for sex crimes than anywhere per capita. So I honestly don't know how they get away with all these false allegations. I know that I've tried to go after my accuser, and I have to no avail. So they won't hold them accountable.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me in this industry that they don't follow the law, but yet they claim they're following the law when it comes to innocent people. When I see repeated people arrested for things they never did, or arrested for non-crimes. We see a lot of these arrests in family court for non-crimes, where they're doing things such as putting somebody in, having somebody appear in court, and it's not a crime, but they're using criminal terminology. It's actually mind-blowing. And then arresting somebody without a crime committed, under contempt of whatever the judge feels like his underwear were on too tight that day and it was your fault. But it's quite upsetting because everything is backwards. Everything is flip opposite of anything normal and what it's supposed to be. And it's quite sad and quite sick. And so I find that the best way to handle it is to just expose them by name. So now since 2007 with this false allegation, I'm assuming, just for the sake of the audience, they removed your children, or how did it come about where, and this would be the paternal or the maternal grandmother got the children?
Maternal.
The maternal grandmother got the children. Okay. So from that point in time, even though they accused you and it was a false allegation, have you seen your children? Have you talked to your children? What's occurred?
I have not seen or talked to my kids. And I mean, I've had a little bit of contact with my children in the last year, them sneaking around and sending me emails and video chatting me until the guardians found out about it and took all their devices away and locked them out of their emails. So I have not had contact since. But prior to that, I hadn't had contact in over 10 years.
Well, you just had a recent discovery. Were you able to find out? We won't say what it is until we play the audio tape, but you just had a recent discovery and you found out, I believe, through one of the children. Is that correct? And what we're about to hear? Okay, so you need to repeat that for the audio's sake.
I didn't hear what you were saying. It was breaking up. That's why I was asking what you said.
I'm trying to just kind of lay the foundation of the audio that we're about to play here and expose to the audience. You got this information that you share in this audio without telling them through one of the kids. Is that correct?
Correct. The audio recording that we have today is me reaching out to Child Protective Services, trying to get information. And as you'll see, she admits to a lot of things, and I still didn't get any information.
Right, as usual, right? As usual.
Right.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about who's the first. Where there's a few people here in this audio. Did you want to just kind of make a little blanket statement about it before we take it live?
Yep. So there's going to be me, Mike Levins, and then there's going to be Rebecca Shields, which is the actual manager of the Trenton, Missouri Child Protective Services that actually overlooks all the CPS workers.
Okay. Well, let's get this rocking for people to hear.
Yep, absolutely. So I spoke with my son, who tells me that he's living in a room. He has a bedroom that doesn't even have a window. He has a bedroom that was a closet turned into a bedroom. That's illegal, federally and by your state standards. You have to have a window. You have to have heat. I want to know why that got passed in a home inspection or a home study. So when I took that to court, it got waived on, and that's not right, man. If I have to follow the law, Missouri has to follow the law. So I guess my question, there's a few questions. One, when this all went down and they got moved to David Tingley's house, I want to know why I was never notified. I was told that you guys sent a letter to the last known address in Sedalia, Missouri, and that's a bunch of lies. Because I told them, I said, I pay child support. They said, well, we're two different entities. We don't have access to that information. Well, your own website that says what you have to do to find the non-custodial parents said you have to go through the database. That was never done.
The child wasn't in our care. That was the issue. Because I think this child hasn't been in our Children's Commission care since 2007.
So who's
11 years ago, he was put into into a guardianship with his grandmother.
Yes, and I was there for that. So,
That was 11 years ago. And then the grandma got sick. And through civil court, her son came forward for these kids. So it wouldn't have been children's division. They were never back in children's division custody. Does that make sense?
it makes sense what you're saying to me, but it doesn't make sense because that's not what I'm being told by the courts. So
children never returned to our custody after 2011. 2007. They were placed with their grandmother on 8/23/2006 in foster care. Their grandmother got guardianship of them on 11/17/2000. They were placed with maternal grandmother in 2006. Completed with grandma on 6/27/2007. She had them until she got ill. They went to stay with her son while she was in the nursing home. I remember this now. And then she got out of the nursing home, come back, and wanted the kids back, and that home wasn't deemed appropriate by the guardian in the case, which even a civil case has a guardian. So her son came forward. I do believe Children's Division had an open called family-centered service case, but that's not where we have custody. That's where we're working with families that's got issues that they need to correct. But
okay.
we never had custody of the kids. As far as the home study on David, the house would have the 10th class past licensing, whatever. Are you sure that, this is not what Tamus is telling you?
I know for a fact because it's zoned for a 2-bedroom home. You can't use the basement as a furnished basement because it doesn't have windows that are accessible in case of a fire. So you can't use that. It is zoned as a 2-bedroom. The girls have 1 bedroom. David and Selena have the other bedroom, and Tamus lives in a closet that was turned into a bedroom that does not have a window. And this has been confirmed not only by Tamus, but by people that go to David's house. So this is a big issue for me because here I've been all these years trying to be a part of my kids' lives, and I'm being shunned out. I go to court to try to get them, and I get shunned out again. I'm married. I've got a
guardianship comes up for review every year. But my big thing would be if you want custody of your child, why wouldn't you hire an attorney in Putnam County and go back and file for custody?
The reason I won't hire an attorney in Putnam County is because we already know how Putnam County is. So, and I'll tell you how Putnam County is. You ready? I went to go get custody of my kids. When was that? Last week? And the state of Missouri stood up, Mary Knowles. I do believe it. Said, well, there's accusations against Mr. Levins. I haven't even been in Putnam County for 13 years. So,
who was the one person that stood up?
Mary Knowles.
And who's she?
I was told that she was representing the state of Missouri.
Okay, now right there, I'm stopping because he says who and who's she. Now listen carefully.
This is the issue I'm having. You're telling I believe you.
I don't. The state of Missouri. I'm the state of Missouri Children's Division, state of Missouri. There's no Mary Knowles that works for us.
Okay.
Now right there, he says there's no Mary Knowles that works for us. Now listen carefully.
Do you see where my issue's coming in? Because I'm being told one thing, and I believe you. Because this is what I go through every time I come to Putnam County. I get the runaround. So I called Jeff City and said, enough's enough. I want my
There was
kids.
A hearing last week in Putnam County?
Yep. There was a hearing because I went forth and said that my son is not supposed to be living in a closet by state and federal statutes. And because
was anybody from Children's Division there?
I was told that was Mary Knowles. Oh, Children's Division, that would have been Seth Oaks.
No, he's juvenile office. He has nothing to do with us.
Okay, so Mary Knowles is the one that I was told to. Okay, so Seth Oaks was there and Mary Knowles.
And this was on the guardianship. I take it that the year was up?
Nope, this was a ex parte order because my son's living in a bedroom. If there's a fire in the living room, he ain't getting out. He's gonna burn to death.
So you filed an ex parte order in Unionville?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so that's what. Okay, Children's Division didn't know about that. Ex parte order in Unionville against
David Tingley.
David in regards to child 11. And it was dropped, I'm going to say.
It was dropped, yep. And there's a lot of things going on. I'll fill you in on it. If
Mary
you'd like to know.
Knowles is, she wasn't a CASA worker?
That I don't know. I was told that she was representing
Now here's where he still sounds like you don't know her, right?
Missouri. So do you have a second so I can explain something to you?
I've got an email into, I'm actually emailing, hoping a worker will email me back on who Mary Knowles is. I know that name, but I mean, I know what.
I know that name. I know that name. Wow, the first 5 times he had no idea who she was.
But I just don't know where it's. No, I'm on the phone. Who's Mary Knowles? Name sounds familiar to you? Is it a CASA worker? It is. She was a CASA worker.
Okay, so
She's not the state of Missouri. She's a CASA worker, a court-appointed special advocate. But I will be honest with you, she probably went into that home. I mean, she went into that home.
she didn't comment on the bedroom situation.
Is she sleeping in a closet with no window? I actually have a worker here in my office today. I'm in the Princeton office. I actually have and I have a worker, and actually I have the worker in the office that actually says she's been speaking with you.
Okay, so why would a CASA worker claim to be against the state, or the state rather? He first said he doesn't know her, then he heard of her. And she's been in the home and knows a child sleeping in a room, a closet without a window.
Kelly Kalanda?
Yes, she called me.
She's out of my Harrison County office, but she covers Putnam. And she says that she was been to that home and she didn't have any law enforcement went with you? I said there wasn't any concerns.
Said there isn't any concerns because children are allowed to sleep in closets with no windows.
Okay. Well, I'm waiting for David's friend to send me pictures. If there's not a window, there's going to be a lawsuit because that's a concern to me. If the house starts on fire, you can't get out. My son dies.
You don't have to have a window. You have to have a second exit. So you can have a second exit through the back of a closet that goes into the other bedroom.
I can read you the state statute that says that it is
No, but
mandatory.
you have to have 2 exits. You're looking at windows. You have to have 2 exits.
Okay. In order for it to be a habitable room, it has to have a window. It has to have a window, and it has to have a 5 square foot closet built in. This is by your own state standards, statutes.
For what?
Where's my? Hang on 1 second. Where's my? I can email you the statutes over to Kelly because I have her email.
Rather than going and filing for custody.
They won't let me file for custody. That's the problem.
Anybody can hire, Michael, anybody can hire an attorney and file for custody of their kid. Anybody can. I don't know where custody was originally established at. Were you married to the mother?
No, I was never married to the mother. I went through DNA test, so paternity testing.
So when he came in here, you had the paternity done.
Right. So can I bring something to your attention?
Hello?
Can you still hear me?
I'm losing you. I had perfect connection, and then
Can you hear me now?
yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah,
For a minute.
I live out in the country, so it's hit and miss.
Yeah.
Can I bring something to your attention that's really important, actually? 14 years ago, Alice hotlined me and said that I was molesting Taffy, okay, which is the older sister. That was proven to be false allegations, and then how can they bring that up 14 years later and say that there's allegations against me? That was cleared. I haven't even been back since then.
Let me get into that screen.
I don't even know where the. So this is what I was going to file for custody.
I do. What it is my worker Kelly said that she had a P report on this. So you must have come report in, and she went over and spoke to your son. But keep in mind, I know a lot of people. Well, our job is to go over and find out if there's any truth to it. And from talking with your son, he's just not indicating he's having any problems. Would he like to have better communication with you? Yes. Would he, whatever. But as far as saying he's abused or he's in a bad, whatever, he denies that. So that's kind of where, we're at. And as far as you can't, matter of fact,
Okay, now, as an advocate, as somebody who's researched ACEs, Saunders, Myers, the Quincy solution, and all kinds of social science research, I can't even begin to tell you what an irresponsible and idiotic thing for someone that works in this supposedly child protective services could have the audacity to say something like that. Because the bottom line comes down to it has been proven undeniably that abused adults, let alone abused children, don't admit to abuse because they're being abused. I mean, it's pretty common sense. Now, I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm simply saying you don't go by a child on any regard. Matter of fact, there's been so many studies done where if you ask a child under a certain age or under a certain emotional maturity level, depending on the child, the same question over and over, they will answer it different, or they'll answer it according to the inflections of your voice. Okay? So this is up to supposedly professionals to assist to investigate something in a proper way, not like, oh, excuse me, are you being abused? No, I'm not being abused. Okay, thank you very much.
How old is he, Amos?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
How old is he?
He is 12. 13 in December.
What's your date of birth? 11/7/82.
Yeah, mine is, yep.
I've got your DCN here, and I'm sure not finding any prior history that indicates there's ever been a report on you.
Really? So they took Taffy Tingley back in 2000, had to have been 2007.
Your name is Michael Shane Levins?
Yep.
Date of birth 11/7/1982.
Yes, ma'am.
Social Security number 523-351423.
Yes.
You don't have any history on children's commission screen. And it would show anything, an investigation, a family-centered service case.
So they wiped it clean.
Let's see if you're involved in any. That's just a run on you.
So they took Taffy to a, what do they call that? A forensic interview?
PAC, yeah. But that's, somebody turned it in. I mean, when was it, by the way? 12 years ago?
14 years ago.
So you fell off at 10 years. 10 years, that report, even unsubstantiated, would have stayed out there. But in the state of Missouri, at 10 years, it fell off.
So
So that record was expunged. It no longer exists. Now, Mary Knowles, I don't know where she would have got. She doesn't have access to Children's Division reports, so I don't know where that would have came from other than I don't know whose records. But I'm telling you that it's not here in Missouri. It would hit expungement. So, I mean, I'm looking at your child abuse record. I have access to that. There's nothing there.
would the forensic interview still be on file with Trenton?
Nope, because when your record came up for expungement, we literally get a list out of state office, and we have to go and pull that record and shred it. It no longer exists.
So I have to go through this all over again. Okay.
Well, if you don't want it to go through it all over again, you want that to go away. There's no proof of it.
I don't
I
have.
don't know who's saying that there's a record out there, because there's not.
Well, the chief of police for Unionville said that video has to be on file indefinitely. So because
You said that?
the chief of police for Unionville, which is Josh Mathis. Sorry, I don't live there, so it's hard for me to remember everybody's names.
Oh boy.
And the reason I bring that up is because they brought it up in court, and I'm like, I've already been cleared of that. That was bogus. It was proven to be false allegations.
It was unsubstantiated.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure if it wasn't even earlier than that. I'm sitting here saying 10 years, but I'm not too sure that it wasn't even earlier than that. The laws have changed regarding expungement, but I can guarantee you it was gone in 10 years, and unsubstantiated, it was probably gone long before that. The problem being, okay, Children's Division investigated, and we expunged it in our records. I don't know how long local law enforcement keeps their records. If it came in as an investigation, if it came into the Children's Division as an investigation with allegations of sexual abuse, we are required by law to co-investigate it with law enforcement, meaning my worker and the law enforcement goes and we investigate it together. If they're looking for criminal charges, they're looking to see if anything criminal happened. Children's Division is looking for child abuse and neglect. And I know some people get that confused because I'll have people say to me, well, I didn't abuse my kids. I didn't have any charges on me. No, they're two different things. If Children's Division finds child abuse on you, you go on what they call the Family Safe Care Registry in Missouri. And that will affect your employment in certain places. That's the intent, is to keep somebody with a finding of child abuse from working in a nursing home, group home, school, daycare. But criminal is taken the other way, and then you go through court. So you never even was charged with anything in Putnam County.
Nope, they took me down to the sheriff's department. From there, they did an interview with me. I did now, however, they did put me in custody. So it took, what was it, a week, 7 days, I do believe. And then she went down for a forensic interview and told them that she was 3 years old. And I don't know exactly what was said.
So she denied it.
Right.
So she denied it, and you were released.
Mm-hmm. That would be correct. So, and now it's coming up again, and it's stopping me from getting my kids. This has got to stop.
Unfair.
I kind of understand your dilemma.
Unfair and sick.
And I also understand, unfortunately, Putnam County is a very unique little county.
Putnam County, I'm gonna be frank with you. I have a lot of cop and lawyer and judge friends here in Colorado. They listen to what's going on and they're like, I don't know how they even have a law enforcement there, because they don't do anything by the book. They do what they want to do. So
That's everywhere. That's everywhere.
The reason I can't get a lawyer in that town is because, first of all, nobody will represent me in that town because they're all friends with David and Alice. They all know them and they're a part of that community. So I reached out to Kirksville. I don't have $5,000 I can just drop at a drop of a hat.
There's an attorney in Iowa right across the line that can practice in Missouri and Centerville, Iowa. And you would ask me his name, and I would have just dropped it out of my head. Marty, be together.
Yep. All right.
I think, from talking with my worker, though, and I'll be honest, the worker that I sent into that home, who's sitting outside my door here down the hallway, is Kelly Kalanda. She's been with me for 16 years. And I trust, let me tell you, if there's anyone who'll tell me that a kid is in an unsafe situation, it's going to be Kelly. She's the one that I know that's going to get up in the middle of the night. She's not going to trust anybody telling her the kid's safe. She's going to drive 100 miles, make sure it's safe herself. And what we've got is a child who's not happy there. Is he happy living with his aunt and uncle? No. Would he like to live with his dad? Yes. I think he'd even like to go back to his grandma's house. The grandma's, can't take care of herself hardly. But he's not abused, you know what I mean? He's, and the closet you're describing is what they call an oversized closet. I just see that in work. But it's an oversized closet that's actually bigger than some bedrooms.
Oh my God, did he just really say that? I don't believe my ears. Hang on. I just shut it and I have to reload it. Hang on. I can't believe I just heard him say it, admitting it's a closet. Admitting that the child is sleeping in a closet. Okay, let's go. Let's hear the rest of it. Okay, hang tight. We're gonna get this. Gotta love it. It's giving me a communications error. Okay, looks like it cleared. Okay, he admits to him sleeping in a closet. What happens after this point, Mike? Because it's not letting me play this. And it's got it the last 10 minutes.
So okay, I'll sum it up real quick. So after that, she goes on to tell me that no matter what, they're not going to let me have my kids because I reside in Colorado. And that's not right. And then she goes into telling me who to contact for an attorney. And I told her I didn't have the $5,000 for the attorney. And she kept pushing an attorney. But it just goes back to she admits that, one, my son was living in an illegal environment. Two, they weren't going to give me my kids regardless. And three, that she knew that Putnam County they're corrupt.
We're gonna get that to work. We need to get that to work. And I'm gonna also air this on Facebook Live. I'm gonna redo it over on Facebook Live as well. But I do need that last little bit because number one, he's admitting to your child being in a closet. I can't even believe a CPS supervisor is admitting to your child living in a closet and that they're aware of it and that there's no windows. Of course, there's no windows in a closet. I wouldn't have to go there to inspect a closet. Okay. Secondly, the fact that they're playing judge with you and telling you what you're going to get and how you're not going to get your child or children because you don't live in the same state is absurd and wrong. And the fact that he started pushing an attorney from the beginning and then she's pushing an attorney and then of course they're pushing one for you to call so we can keep the money rolling within our own, diabolical system. Now let's see what's happening. It looked like it was about to play the ending. I'm really not sure why this would shut off on cloud like this. Let me see if I can pull it up. The last 13 minutes or 10 minutes. What else did you want to add to this, though, Mike?
I brought attention to the courts that my son had threatened suicide because of the situation that he was living in. My son has admitted to being gay, and the uncle was beating him up for it. When I brought that to the court's attention, I didn't know this, but apparently he did attempt suicide, and they put him on medication, and they still kept him in that environment, even after me telling the judge that, this isn't right. My son wants to end his life because he's not happy where he's at. It's not a good environment, and his uncle is bashing his head against the wall, calling him a faggot.
Wow.
This is not good at all. My children have been brainwashed by the family and the courts, by the family, by telling my kids that I'm a child molester, which is totally not true.
Which was the first, yeah.
And then, obviously, like I told you about the attorney telling the judge that I was part of the Mexican mafia, that those allegations right there was enough to hang me, even though there was no proof whatsoever. And it's a corrupt court system. It's a corrupt system, period. I've never, anytime I've gone to court, I've had to prove my side. They don't have to prove anything. As long as it comes out of their mouth, it stops me from getting my kids. And I'm the only able and willing and fit parent to take care of my kids. Their mother has walked out. She's done.
Right.
So
we did want to touch on that part too, that the mom has walked out. I want to say, because I see this all the time, and I see this nationwide, and it baffles me, and it aggravates me, and you said it, you hit the nail on the head. You have to go in and prove everything. Not that they listen to it anyway, because it's out there in La La Land somewhere. But they don't have to prove anything, but anything that's logical or has to do with a child safety. We just heard him. Yeah, well, the closet's a big closet. It's a big closet he's living in. It's a big closet, not a big deal. Not hello, a child is sleeping and living in a closet. It's a big closet. Okay, no big deal. Why should that be a big deal? The child's also committing suicide. It's a big closet, like nothing. It's all the same to them. It's all the same. None of it's important. But if it was you, it's something different. If we can make something up about you and we can use it, all of a sudden they know something's wrong, even though it's not even real.
Right.
And this is what we see. We see this everywhere. We see this all over. So, and then when you've got real pedophiles, they're giving them children, and they're actually on a registry, and there actually is evidence and proof, and they're giving them children. Okay, this is what's happening in our country. And I have somebody else I know that they falsified everything, and the daughter admitted who touched her. Until this day, they have not repaired the damages to this family that I know personally. Okay, they've not. They just have re-victimized them and re-abused them over and over. But like I said, I've got cases all over the place where there's real pedophiles. Let's face it, I would have to say a very high percentage of these judges are real pedophiles. Real pedophiles. They don't care. Not to mention that I consider them to be real murderers, real abusers, because they're the ones that are rendering orders that are murdering and abusing children. So that's what we're dealing with this diabolical system. It's quite evil. I appreciate you telling me the story and telling them the story. And what we'll do is I will have this go live off of the YouTube back onto Facebook as well. And this is going to go to all those television stations that I told you, so that we can get the word out. We don't usually do YouTube So we're not going to get the large audience right off the bat, but we will get it through the TV stations, and then we will get it definitely through Facebook, because I'm starting to try to head my way over to YouTube, just because it's going to be easier with the TV stations, and I'm gaining more TV stations as well. So, and that to me is really important, because we need to continue to raise as much public awareness, and people have to know that good parents are losing children, fit parents are losing children, and these absurd orders giving children to, first of all, foster care, which is 88% trafficked children in foster care inside, and then putting them in the worst homes imaginable, it has to end. But again, I thank you for your story today, and we'll be following up with you, and get in class again, so we can see what we can do to get this all turned around as quick as possible. I know you took class. What did you think of it?
I liked it. I was a little preoccupied worrying about my safety in that town, being followed by the sheriff around, but
Yeah.
I really liked it. I got a lot of useful information out of it. I took notes, and I look forward to doing it again.
Well, we're going to be hopping back in there in about 35 minutes. So we'll wrap this up, and I'll make sure that this hits all the stations so we can get this aired everywhere. And again, I appreciate it, and we're going to stay with you and follow up and follow through, and hopefully bring on that accountability that's needed to get your children with you where they belong. In your case, they belong with you. So we're going to support you in that all the way through. So thank you.
Thank you.
And if anyone would like to join our classes, you can go to punishedbeingaaparent.com, punishedbeingaaparent.com. And we have classes on zoom.us weekdays at 7:30 from the comfort of your own home. Thank you for watching. Punished for Protecting.